Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I want to invite you today on a little stroll in a free imperial village, or a former free imperial village by the name of Goxheim. Yeah? I have made tours or taken you on tours in free imperial cities, freie Reichsstädte before, such as Rotenburg and Nördlingen. But I also didn't know for quite a while that there were in fact also free imperial villages. So that means free imperial, or that just means that there is, or there used to be in the Holy Roman Empire, there wasn't any intermediate feudal lord between those towns, cities or villages, and the emperor. So that means these places were property of the emperor himself, and that also means that when a new guy became the emperor, then this village did not stay with his family, but it moved, or it became the possession of the next emperor. And that means not the guy, technically the guy, but it belonged to the office or to the Reich itself. And that was very rare. And normally, so most of the land, most of the towns were owned by a certain family, a certain clan, a certain house, and that means then also that it was inherited, by the next generation. But not so these imperial towns. And this is the first time I think I am in a free imperial village. A lot of them used to be, or were in what is now in France, Alsace. But there is also a cluster in the southwest, and there are some here near Schweinfurt in northern Bavaria or Franconia, Franken. And this is the first time I think I ever set foot in one of these villages, and I just want to show you what is here. So I choose Goxheim because, you see here already, this is the church tower, and the church is very interesting here. You can imagine, if you remember my previous videos in these free imperial cities, the most prominent feature of these places is the city walls, of course, because you can imagine the city is rich, a lot of commerce, a lot of people want to be here because they don't have to deal with a greedy feudal lord. They just have to deal with the emperor, and the emperor is far away and leaves them alone for the most part. But then again, you have, of course, all these other greedy feudal lords around you. So technically, you are not their property, but they're your neighbors. And they, of course, might, when the emperor is weak, they might seize the opportunity and make a move on these towns. And that is why they had these city walls, in order to defend themselves against, considerable armies. And these little villages, a free imperial village, of course, doesn't have that opportunity. They don't have the resources or the power to build city walls. Probably they weren't allowed to either, but that's a different story. So what they did instead, and I've never seen such a structure myself, what they did is they built a so-called Kilchenburg. That means a church castle. I will show you now how that looks like. It just means that they fortified the courtyard. So there is a church, there is a courtyard, and around it they build walls. And so these walls have basically two functions. One is the obvious, it's a defensive structure, it's a defensive wall, but there are also rooms or chambers, storage facilities in these walls, and that is, of course, just as important as the defense. That is, if you're under siege, you need provisions, you need stuff, you need food, you need fuel, you need weapons, you need water, and so on. So they have yeah, storage facilities here. And here you can see these walls. That is the church tower here, and around it you have this, yeah, considerably high, or very high, yeah, it's pretty high, I think. It's a defensive wall. And unfortunately we cannot really go inside today. There is a construction site here, but I want to still, I think we can see the most part. There you can see a well, for example, an old well. And right about here, that's the church entrance. And here you see how it looks like from the inside. So now we're on the inside. I think back then you couldn't come in here that easily, but that's what's left of this structure. And you see here, yeah, there is a museum also, which is of course closed now. But here you see these little roofs and these doorways and these windows, and this is where they kept their provisions. This is where they kept their supplies in case there was a siege. And I think by the size of this structure, we can already tell that not everybody who wanted to probably found shelter in here in case of some sort of an attack. And I think it's also clear that this structure, it cannot really hold out against a larger army that has siege engines and such. So I think you can maybe defend yourself against a gang of criminals or some bandits, some robbers. But a larger army that's on the move here, like maybe in the 30 Years' War, a bigger army, I think you don't have a chance really. But yeah, it's better than nothing, definitely. Yeah. So here you also see a stairway. Okay, and now we exit the main gates. I think I shouldn't have entered here, but anyway. So, and now we are at a little square in front of the church, but also in front of City Hall. There is also a little well here, and I'm gonna turn around now. And then you can see not the Asia Palace, Thai China restaurant. No, you see the ancient or the old Rathaus City Hall. That's where the mayor has his office. And this well here, very beautiful, I think. Normally in these free imperial towns, you have these eight-sided, so octagonal or octagon wells. And this is much smaller and it's round, but very beautiful. So if you want to have a comparison, check out my videos from Nördlingen and from Rotenburg, Dinkelsbühl also. Very interesting, very nice, I think. Also different times of the year. I think, yeah, it says 1562. So that's when this was built. And okay. And the coat of arms of Goxheim, I think I should show you. Oh yeah, the partner town in France, Irigny, 832 kilometers, or I don't know, 4 days by tank, I have no idea. But yeah, this is the coat of arms. It is a wall with a silver or white eagle behind it. Looks pretty cool, I think. So that's the coat of arms. And now we're just, yeah, here, this is the old term for this structure. It's called Garden. So it's Schutz- und Vorratsräume einer mittelalterlichen Kilchenburg. So this is the defensive and supply structure, or defense and supply structure of a medieval church castle. All right. So that with that, I want to end my tour now of Goxheim. I hope you liked it. If there is something else worth showing, I will make little snippets and use them later. But yeah, that's the first impression, the first walking tour of the beautiful village of Goxheim with a very interesting past. And I think, yeah, the concept of a free imperial village is pretty awesome. I don't know, maybe in Thuringia or Saxony we can have that again, no idea. But for the time being, Servus! Kameraden.